Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon. Couple of weeks, couple of weeks, couple of weeks, couple of weeks, couple of weeks. Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. Within the next 2 weeks. Within the next 2 weeks." Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon. It would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon. It would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon, which would of course pose an existential threat not just to Israel but to the United States and to the entire world.
So it's going to take Iran 2 weeks in order to complete the creation of a nuclear weapon. But Donald J. Trump is going to wait 2 weeks before deciding whether or not to drop a bomb on Iran. Did I get that right? Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is not going to be long, but these people really think you all are stupid. Okay? If supposedly Iran only needs 2 weeks to complete a nuclear bomb, why would you wait 2 weeks before making a decision whether or not you're going to invade them or not? Whether or not you're going to join into the war or not? That don't make no sense unless it is an effort to deceive the Iranians into thinking that there's some kind of hopes that talks and reconciliation through words. But wait a minute. There were ongoing talks to happen last Sunday. And the Israelis still ended up dropping a whole bunch of missiles on Iran during the peace negotiations. So the Iranians are not going to fall for that again. So perhaps this lie or this deceptive tactic about this supposed 2-week reprieve before America joins into the war is not a lie to deceive the Iranians, but instead to deceive the Americans. You check it out? Now, why might they want to deceive the Americans? Well, what we have to understand is that warfare is based on deception. And the people who are engaged in the warfare and are indeed the aggressors always want to appear to the masses of people as if they are the victims. Right? So America and Israel are realizing that the world is looking at them as the problem, as the aggressors, except for the so-called white supremacists and the evangelicals. Of course, they're always going to support the Israelis no matter what. Their very doctrine depends on it, right? But as far as the rest of the world, which is the great majority of the planet, they are looking at America and Israel, that land over there, and the Israelis, as the big and little Satan. Okay? So now, perhaps, maybe, in an effort to gain some sympathy and perhaps justify their aggression, maybe they're plotting a false flag event to occur on July 4th, which coincidentally is the same exact time that this 2-week reprieve ends. Maybe they just want to blow up a bunch of little boys and girls at a 4th of July parade in a huge terrorist attack, bigger than 9/11, in order to garner sympathy from the world at large and manufacture aggression from the American people themselves. That way, when they attack Iran, they can have somewhat of a moral leg to stand on. You check it out? It should also be noted and correlated that September 11 or 9/11, when the Twin Towers came down, and 9/11 being the telephone number that you call in America when there's some kind of emergency, and then now consider that 2025 equals 9. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 5 equals 9, right? 2025. And then July, which is the 7th month of the year, 4, which is the 4th day of the month, equals 11. 7 plus 4 equals 11. So July 4th, 2025 is also 9/11. So that's something to consider. I'm going to leave you with this precept, Psalms 55 from verse 20. It says, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Who is that speaking about? You're looking at him. Now this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. I'm going to start with verse 3. It says, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. For Yahawah hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Master and Savior, Yahawashi HaMashiach the Anointed. So Yahawah willing, this has been an edifying lesson, relevant unto salvation for the hopeful elect, giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Shalom.